My neighbor a Nazi, scene 12, take 1.
And action.
Officer, you just have to believe me. I know that Mr. Chapman is a Nazi.
I've known Bill Chapman my entire life, young man, and he's no Nazi.
But...
And the next time you call in with a bunch of bunk, you'll be the one headed to the slammer.
And cut. Johnny, that's your first take in a real Hollywood movie. You made it, kid. Back to 1.
And so began the film career of Johnny Kansas, an actor whose path to the silver screen might be the least likely in film history. John Lincoln Kansas was born October 12, 1918, in Springfield, Missouri. He had a picture-perfect childhood, excelling in baseball and skipping stones across the old watering hole, and occasionally stealing an apple pie off a windowsill. He was classically handsome with a strong jawline and thick blonde hair, and from a young age he was interested in show business. Johnny would catch a vaudeville show whenever it came to town, painting fences to earn the money for a ticket. So it was only natural that he would move to California when he turned 18, looking to make his way into the pictures. At least according to his cover story. His real name was Johan Ludwig, and he was born in Würzburg, Bavaria in 1918. Johann graduated Nazi Academy in 1938 and was named Oberviehkopf of his class, which roughly translated as biggest fuckhead, the Academy's highest honor. After being personally recruited by Joseph Goebbels, Johann trained in every aspect of American culture and perfected his English. A German U-boat dropped him off in Hollywood shortly after 2 a.m. one morning in March 1939. In an embarrassing whoopsie, the sub-commander accidentally dropped him off in Hollywood, Florida. Johann did eventually make it to California, and that's where Johann became Johnny, and Johnny became a movie star. I'm Abby Larson, and welcome to Unremembered Hollywood, a podcast dedicated to telling completely real and true stories of Hollywood's yesteryear. Step back in time with me to when a Nazi spy tried to infiltrate Hollywood, but Hollywood infiltrated him. And now, the story of Johnny Kansas, the Nazi with a headshot. Goebbels' secret Hollywood spy force was tasked with befriending and converting movie stars, studio executives, and directors, and encouraging those new friends to espouse Nazi ideals. To blend in, they chose American names and identities, albeit with limited understanding of the culture. The first such spy, a Gestapo officer named Hans Schmidt, took the name Fred Q. Hotdog and was airdropped into Hollywood in January 1937. He was discovered almost immediately when his parachute got caught on the Hollywood sign. Hot Dog was executed for espionage 2 days later. Other spies were sent, and a few even made it onto studio lots. Fritz Schaefer, using the name Edmund T. Pancakes, even managed to get a job as a production assistant on It Happened One Night. He was fired when he thought Claudette Colbert was waving at him, and he accidentally did the Nazi salute back. He was also executed, but that's another story. But where Hot Dog and Pancakes failed, Ludwig was determined to succeed. His first decision was to take a non-food-related last name, despite the widely held conception that all Americans were only interested in food. He took some acting tips from Hitler himself, which he would describe in his recently declassified mission journals.
The Führer has been kind enough to take over my acting instruction personally. He had the wisdom to order the execution of my former acting coach after seeing our Shakespeare monologues in Nazi Academy. Mine wasn't great, but I don't know if it was shoot a father of 4 bad. Hitler is, of course, one of the world's finest actors and best teachers, and his scene notes are very decisive and insightful. I'm not sure if it's appropriate to shout out every single line, but as we say in Germany, do what Hitler says or get executed.
Once in Los Angeles, Johnny found a modest bachelor apartment on Argyle Street in Hollywood and did what all actors do when they first get to Los Angeles. He enrolled in an acting class. Before Stella Adler, Uta Hagen, or Sanford Meisner, there was only one name in Hollywood if you wanted to learn acting. Charles Richard Schwartz was both feared and admired among stars and wannabes alike. Clark Gable, Shirley Temple, Mickey Rooney, and Katharine Hepburn numbered among his protégés. Mickey Rooney often remarked that he would have never been able to pull off his nuanced portrayal of Mr. Unioshi in Breakfast at Tiffany's without Schwartz. Classes in his Schwartz method were known to bring out the best in his students, showing them a path to convey ultimate truth through harnessing their deepest psyches. If improperly applied, however, the Schwartz method would often cause nosebleeds, nausea, and sometimes even mild strokes. Here, in this 1976 recording, Schwartz teaches his technique for a series of taped classes.
Do you want this piece of paper, Janet?
Now pick up that piece of paper. Now put it down. Jesus Christ, that was the most dishonest thing I've ever seen on a stage. Why is that paper there? Why are you here? What does the piece of paper want in the scene? How is this related to your mother and her disappointment in you?
My mother died when I was 2.
Oh, boo-hoo. There is an audience waiting outside and you're thinking about dear old mommy. Use it!
To pick up the paper?
Christ on a stump. Is your mother a ghost that can help you pick it up?
I'm so confused.
Finally, something honest. And that, class, is Schwartz's method.
Oh, God, my nose is bleeding.
Johnny took to the class immediately.
Herr Schwartz's class is wunderbar. He provides everything that I miss about the fatherland. Getting screamed at for no reason, being ordered to do insane things, and just a really nice vibe in general.
When he wasn't in class, Johnny went to where every other out-of-work actor went, Schwab's Pharmacy. A popular Hollywood legend held that Lana Turner was discovered while sitting at the lunch counter. The fact that the story wasn't true didn't stop new arrivals and old hands alike from flocking to Schwab's with a copy of Variety tucked under their arm. It was there Johnny met someone who would change his life forever. More after this message, a real commercial from the 30s.
Why the long face, friend?
I don't know about you, but I am not having a Great Depression.
I was just like you until a few weeks ago, when I found out about selling apples on the street.
You sell apples on the street?
That's right, and only the freshest. Sure, I might have been a big-shot banker at one of the biggest firms on Wall Street, but now I sell apples. And I've never been happier.
Why are you crying?
Because I get to sell apples!
Oh, okay. Well, color me interested. Where do I get apples to sell?
I had it all, man. I had it all. And then, poof!
You're supposed to say contact your local orchard to get your apples.
That sounds great. Hey, listen, I'm gonna go up to the top floor of that building there and just stare down at the ground below for a while. Here, you take my cart and my apples. I won't be needing them.
Hey, don't go. Stay here and tell me how great it is to sell apples.
I'm gonna miss you most of all, friend.
Yeah, selling apples. That's the way to go. I'll be back on my feet in no time. Oh, sweet God.
That was really bleak. Johnny was minding his own business at the lunch counter when a young actress named Mary Weissman sat next to him. Our recreation is culled from Johnny's journal and Mary's diary.
Oh, how do, Blondie? What you reading?
Oh, just Das Variety. I mean, just Variety.
New in town?
I've been here a few months.
Oh, me too. Fresh off the train from Seattle. You book anything yet?
Not yet. I am taking a class, trying to crush all these inferior mongrels.
Ugh, tell me about it. I was up for a maid that William Powell slaps around, but I got bunk.
She handed him her phone number.
If you ever want to, rehearse lines.
Johnny didn't have his cover perfected yet, but lucky for him, he'd just met someone who was so self-centered she didn't even notice his slip-ups. The two wrote about each other in their journals.
I met the most intriguing fella at Schwab's today. Tall, blonde, handsome. I think he said his name was Jim. If I didn't know better, I would have said he's right out of Nazi Academy. He seems like he might be going somewhere and isn't hard to look at to boot.
New target identified and contacted at American Pharmacy today.
Wow. That was like straight out of a romance novel. Johnny continued to attend classes and audition and found himself spending more time with Mary. And then it happened. 6 months after sneaking ashore from a submarine, Johnny Kansas booked his first part. He was cast as a concerned young man in a movie called My Neighbor the Nazi, a film that extolled the virtues of informing on those you suspect of being a fascist. Although he had only one scene, Johnny was fascinated by the process. He took Mary out to celebrate.
The whole setup was very impressive, way bigger than we have back home in Missouri. And they had a man whose job it was just to make sure I had fresh water when I wanted it. I haven't had that much fun since my first day of Nazi regular academy.
Oh, Johnny, I'm so proud of you.
That's just sweet of you, Mary, but it was just one scene.
1 scene today, 2 scenes tomorrow.
Please forgive me, I forgot about your soup audition. How did it go?
Let's just say I think it's in the can.
This is humorous?
Like the soup is in the can?
I see. Very whimsical.
Haven't you ever heard a pun before?
We did not cover this in Nazi American school, which is to say I mean high school of the regular kind and not the Nazi kind. And what is that word even then?
You're a real duck, Mr. Johnny Kansas. But I don't mind.
We Americans do love all our vulgarity and deviousness, don't we?
I know I do.
With a movie role under his belt and a girl on his arm, Johnny's Hollywood prospects were looking up. He signed with an agent, a young go-getter named Ira Applebaum, who got him new headshots and sent him out on the town to be seen. He became a regular at the Chateau Marmont and the Coconut Grove at the Ambassador. Paparazzi started to take his photo at events, and he even made it into Photoplay magazine a couple of times. His official mission logs don't mention it, but he wrote about his newfound notoriety in his private journal.
What a few weeks it has been. I met with Howard Hawks and William Wyler yesterday, and Ira says they're both keen to put me in their new pictures. 2 auditions on Monday and a screen test on Tuesday. Oh, and death to the Reichsenemies.
A few weeks after that entry, and just 10 months after landing in the U.S., Johnny Kansas signed a contract with MGM for 2 years. He started filming The Hoof and Heifer the very next day. The film, a sadly forgotten MGM musical about a cow that learns to dance, did not perform at the box office. Johnny played Earl, a farmhand who was secretly in love with Myrna Loy's beautiful rancher character Winona. As it turns out, Johnny's German accent came out a little bit when he sang. His voice was replaced in the final version of the film, but here's a clip of the original audio.
There is something that is special in the spring, that puts a fellow under its spell and makes him compelled to sing. First his brain stops thinking, and his eyes start winking, and then he gets an inkling that he wants to buy a ring. The cow is escaping! Halt!
Few people saw The Hoof and Heifer in the U.S., even fewer saw it in Germany, as American films had been banned. One Nazi officer, however, had been tasked with watching American movies to both stay apprised of what was happening in the U.S. and to get ideas for counter-propaganda. That officer was named Gunther Brown, and he was Johan Ludwig's superior. He was a tall, imposing figure with a very serious jawline and a scar down his right cheek that, if we're being honest, looked pretty boss. His subordinates spoke of him as a stern but fair commanding officer, but he could be a real Nazi about some things. According to a junior officer, he said,
I can tolerate some things. Uniforms getting a single speck of dirt on them during mortal combat. I suppose flinching if someone shot at you, maybe. End of list. But losing focus during a mission is something I cannot tolerate. Johan Ludwig is officially in the Nazi doghouse.
Brown needed to get to the bottom of why his protege was jumping around and singing like an Arschgeig on screen. He couldn't risk sending a message to Johann through traditional means, so he would have to make the journey himself. Johnny's troubles weren't just in Germany, either. Louis B. Mayer was livid when he heard his newest contract player's singing voice. He summoned Johnny to his office.
You have a good look, kid. The camera loves you. But the microphone thinks you're a jackass. What is with that accent when you sing?
Very sorry, Mr. Mayor. It was my first musical and all, so I guess I just got a little nervous.
Oh, heavens, kid, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were nervous. Well, you should have said something, and we would have stopped production to let you suckle from that cow's teat. Now go see the studio singing teacher and learn how to sing without sounding like you just fell out of a sauerkraut barrel. And get a haircut. You look like you're fresh out of Nazi Academy.
Later that night, Mary and Johnny threw back martini after martini at the Coconut Grove to help him forget his troubles.
That mayor, what does he know?
Quite a bit.
I'm gonna show him, Mary. I'm going to take all the voice lessons I can handle, and then in a few months I'm going to knock his socks off, just like in Nazi voice lessons.
Did you just say Nazi voice lessons?
No, not the voice lessons, what I said. That's what I call all non-voice lessons. Acting, dance, math, pottery, swim, life lessons, anything really.
Ah, of course. Silly me.
A man sidled up next to them at the bar and ordered a drink. He did a double take when he saw Johnny.
Oh, I'm very sorry to bother you. Are you Johnny Kansas?
Why, yes, I am.
I just saw the Hoofenheifer and I was blown away. You were absolutely terrific.
Thanks, pal. What's your name?
Heavens, where are my manners? Percy Kensington Smith, S.O.E. I mean, Peter Waffles. My name is Peter Waffles.
Pleasure, Peter. This is Mary. She's an actress, too.
Charmed. Where are you from, Peter?
Me? Oh, I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. The Biscuit State.
Ah, look at that, Johnny. Another good Midwest boy. Mr. Waffle, please join us.
And so the trio chatted the night away, becoming fast friends. Despite Peter telling them, Johnny and Mary didn't realize that he had a secret of his own. More after this vintage advertisement.
Riding these rails is sure getting monotonous, fellow hobo.
Oh, you got that right. If I have to carve one more symbol on a fence post, I am gonna lose my mind.
It'll all be worth it when we get to the big rock candy mountain.
Did I hear someone say they are looking for an adventure?
No.
Wonderful. Hello, friends. I am Generalissimo Francisco Franco. And if it's adventure you are after, you found me at exactly the right time.
We were just sitting here and you jumped into our boxcar.
Haven't you always wanted to travel to exotic Spain and kill interesting people?
First part sounds fun, but I don't much want to kill no one.
That's okay, friend. Come to Spain and there's plenty of work in both killing and non-killing industries. And hey, if the mood strikes you, pew pew! Everyone wins.
Except that guy we killed.
Could also be a woman, don't be sexist. Anyway, come to Spain and help me fight, and untold riches shall be yours.
You ain't one of those murderous dictator types, are ya?
Who's to say what I'm going to do? I will promise to do my best.
Oh, I don't know.
Tell you what, I'll give you a can of beans.
Sold!
The Spanish Civil War. Catch the fever.
I'm starting to wonder if these ads are real. Peter Waffles, you probably guessed from him telling you, was a British intelligence officer named Percy Kensington Smith. With the U.S. not in the war yet and no organized domestic intelligence service, the British took it upon themselves to counter Nazi espionage efforts. On the evening of his departure, he dictated a telegram to his mother.
I can't say where I'm going, Mum. Only that the mission is of gravest import to stopping Hitler. I shall write when I can. I wonder if they have the ability to cable London from Los Angeles. Forget that last part. Don't type this bit out. No, I don't want you to send out this. Wait!
Peter arrived in Hollywood a few weeks later. Like Johnny, he moved into a modest apartment and started making the rounds. Johnny didn't put it together that night at the Coconut Grove, but Peter staked out Schwartz's acting classes. He spelled out the experience in great detail in his journal.
Did anyone hear that?
Stop. Why do you lie to all of us? You didn't hear a noise.
It's the line of dialogue in the script.
Oh, so you just dutifully go along with whatever you're told. You must learn to improvise, to make the work your own. Again!
Oh, all right. Did anyone hear that? Is someone there?
Cut! That is not in the script.
You just told me to improvise.
Improvise with your mind, not your voice. Oh my, you're a total teardown, I'm afraid. Please disrobe completely.
I think I might be... Is this the right class?
As the evening wore on, Johnny, Peter, and Mary drank and chatted about their acting dreams. Not having any acting dreams himself, Peter didn't have a lot to contribute. But after hours of hearing Johnny's passion, he couldn't help but feel a little swept up.
I was struck at Obersturmführer Ludwig's intensity when he spoke of acting. I know he's trying to convince people he's something that he's not, but I couldn't shake the feeling that his excitement was genuine. He spoke about the thrill of becoming a new person with the joie de vivre I would expect of him, talking about annexing a Czech province or sticking his dagger into a Frenchman's clavicle. I would be remiss if I didn't say he made trotting the boards sound most appealing.
It was most refreshing to have another man around with whom I could discuss real important matters, and someone who's also been down the Schwartz hole. I invited Peter to set tomorrow. I'm playing a waiter who spills a drink on William Powell. I'm just such a big fan of Thin Man. I hope I don't blow it. Sheesh. Listen to me. I sound like I just got off a U-boat. Go, Hitler, go! Wait, that's not right. I'm totally blanking. Hitler ahoy? Ahoy Hitler. That's it.
While Mary acted like she was okay with their quickly blossoming bromance, their kinship did seem to bother her. She wrote,
Peter is a charming enough fellow, but Johnny's never invited me to set. I came back from the restroom and those two were whispering about something and stopped very abruptly when I returned. Something's fishy, all right.
The next day on the MGM lot, Peter watched in awe as he passed by all the stars he'd only seen at the cinemas in London. He watched take after take of Johnny spilling a drink on a gracious and genteel William Powell. And while he was on the lot, Peter forgot he and Johnny weren't Peter and Johnny at all. They were just friends who were trying to make it in Hollywood. After Johnny wrapped for the day, Johnny and Peter stopped off in his dressing room.
I can't believe all this is yours.
It can all be yours too, Peter. I know you're going to do well.
Well, you're just being kind.
I'm serious. I can tell that you...
Hello, Johan.
God. Oh, but hello. I forgot you were stopping by. This is my friend Peter. Peter, this is my agent, Ira Applebaum.
Peter Waffles, so glad to meet you. I'm an actor as well, if you're looking for anyone new.
The pleasure is all mine. May I speak with you alone, Johan?
I changed it for show business, you know.
Of course.
Peter left the room, but listened from just outside.
Überführer, this is unexpected.
It was even more unexpected to see you frolicking on screen with the American Fräulein. This is concerning to all of us in Naziville. Hitler renamed Berlin Naziville, by the way, but it's not really catching on organically.
Yeah, that's not great.
Feigen, I will now hear your mission update, Obersturmführer. How many of these decadents have you turned to our cause?
Are we talking quantity or quality? Because I have a few pretty big fish on the line.
Oh, yeah? Who?
Oh, all the big ones. Victor Fleming, William Wyler, Howard Hawks.
Ugh, I really didn't like Come and Get It.
Have you seen Bringing a Baby? It's very good.
I haven't gotten it yet. Is it still playing? Nine! It doesn't matter. If you can't show me concrete results, it'll be the old Dusseldorf headache for you.
Is that shooting in the head or hanging?
Shooting in the head.
That's what I thought.
You have 3 days.
After Braun left, Peter came back in to find a shaken Johnny.
Your agent seems pretty intense.
Yeah, he can be a real, stickler.
Peter went to phone his superiors. Braun would be a huge get for British intelligence, and he needed to move quickly. But waiting for him at his apartment was a big surprise. His landlady handed him a message. He'd gotten an audition for a bit part in an RKO film, and they wanted him there immediately. She asked him if he needed to use the phone, and he thought about it for a moment.
I'm just gonna run off to the audition first, keep up appearances, etc.
That night, Johnny took Mary to dinner, but was understandably distracted.
And then Norma Shear burst in and said, I found the gladiolas. Johnny?
Oh, yes, what an amusing anecdote. Say, did Norma mention anything about being interested in National Socialism?
I can't say she did.
Oh, well, if she brings it up, just let me know.
What's the matter with you?
My command agent showed up this afternoon and read me the riot act. I have to start getting results.
Just like an agent. If you're not earning, they drop you.
I'll get dropped all right. I guess I'll just have to hope my meeting with George Cukor goes well.
Until the run-in with Braun, all Johnny had been thinking about was that meeting. Cukor was already a widely respected director, and with the right role, he could make Johnny into a name. But now, with his commander looking over his shoulder, the meeting took on a much larger significance. He had to hook a big fish. This one happened to be Jewish. Johnny put on his best suit and went to Cukor's office at MGM. He'd just wrapped Holiday with Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn.
Johnny Kansas? Come on in. You ever think about changing your name? It sounds made up. Never mind. Look, I wanted to meet you because I think you'd be perfect for this new picture I'm putting together.
Mr. Cukor, I'm flattered. What a dream. If I may, though, how much do you know about the National Socialist German Workers' Party?
The Nazis? Why, hell, you must have read my mind. My next picture is about the Nazis.
Oh, fantastisch.
That's the spirit. It's called Nazis. What a bunch of jerks. It's a working title, not my best. I want you to play the main villain, a young Nazi officer named Rolf.
The main villain?
Yes, exactly. You're a good listener, and I appreciate an attentive conversation partner. It's high time the general public knows what a bunch of dickheads these Nazis are.
Well, not all of them.
Do you want the part or not?
Johnny thought for a moment. Should he stay with his mission or fulfill a dream he's had for over 3 months?
Just call me Rolf the Dickhead Nazi, Mr. Cukor.
When we return, the thrilling conclusion of The Nazi with a Headshot.
Hello, this is Calvin Coolidge for Good Day Breakfast Wafers. Thank you.
Peter was all nerves as he stepped in front of the assembled filmmakers. On cue, he took a deep breath and said his single line.
I'm afraid Mr. Houlihan is cancelled, ma'am.
Thank you.
I could do it again, if you want.
No, thank you.
Are you...
Thank you.
Peter was crushed. He had never wanted anything more in his life, and it was gone like that.
Herr Ludwig will rue this day.
Back at MGM, Johnny was feeling nerves, too. It was his costume fitting day. When the costumer put the medals on his uniform, he spoke up.
No. The Order of Valkyries goes above the Schweinshaxe, and the crease in these pants would probably get you shot in the head.
George Cukor was showing John Ford around the set and decided to make a surprise visit.
And this is a new talent I've discovered. Johnny Kansas, please meet John Ford.
Oh, Mr. Ford, it is an honor.
Great name, kid. Say, George, why do you have this Norman Rockwell-looking son of a bitch gussied up like a Nazi? He should be playing Sergeant York, not Fritz Bratwurst.
You know Fritz Bratwurst?
His jawline is positively Teutonic.
I'm telling you, apple pie and fireworks are practically coming out of his ears.
Just then, Mary came in.
Hiya, Johnny. I just came to see you get fitted for your first big role.
Mr. Cukor, Mr. Ford, this is my friend Mary.
Oh, is that what you call it, Johnny?
There was a knock at the door, and next in walked Peter Waffles, now in his British uniform.
Peter, you got the part?
Not quite, old chum.
I didn't know we cast that role, but boy, do you look dynamite.
Just then, Gunther Brown burst in the room. He looked around and saw Johnny in his uniform.
Excellent, Obersturmführer. You have not only brought all these Americans to our cause, but... what kind of crease in your trousers is that?
Brown reached for a pistol in his waistband, and Johnny had to improvise.
Scheisse! I mean, great! Everyone, this is my agent, Ira.
Ira, I hear you're a real killer.
Oh, yeah, well, we do our best.
Peter drew his Enfield revolver.
The jig is up, I'm afraid.
Already in rehearsal. I love the moxie, fellas.
This isn't quite a rehearsal, Mr. Kukor. Big fan, by the way. Little Women was absolutely smashing.
Oh my gosh, yes, Katharine Hepburn is just incredible.
Isn't she? Quiet! As it turns out, your Nazi officer is actually a Nazi officer. I should have thought that one through more. His name is Johan Ludwig, and his agent is in reality Obersturmführer Gunther Brown of the SS.
It appears the jig is up. So who are you really?
Percy Kensington Smith, S.O.E.
Oh, that's why you said that before.
I think old Winnie Churches will want to have a word with the two of you. Winston Churchill. No one calls him that. I'm not sure why I said it.
Is this true?
Johnny turned to see Mary, now also holding a pistol.
Mary?
The name's Betty Batterson, FBI.
Gasp! How long have you known?
Since you landed. We tend to notice U-boats completely surfacing 100 feet from U.S. shore. Lieutenant, I'm afraid J. Eggy Hooves will want to crack at these two first. We don't, call him that. It just sounded like fun to make up names.
Braun pulled his pistol.
If everyone else is going to have one.
Mine is just a prop, but might as well.
Your accent seems to be weaving in and out a bit, mate.
I am torn between two worlds, don't you see?
The costumer, who had been standing next to Johann the entire time, spoke up.
Can I go? It's my break time.
Sorry, forgot you were here.
Betty deftly tossed her a nickel.
Get out of here and buy yourself a cup of joe on me.
John and I have a meeting with, Benjamin
Leon
Clothes
T.
Hanger.
Office store?
Of course, Herr Kukor. I wish we could have worked together.
Maybe someday, kid.
The legendary director slinked out of the room, and for several tense moments, no one spoke. Until...
Fellas, it looks like we have a Mexican standoff on our hands.
You mean a Bavarian pretzel fight?
I always call it a Dutch inconvenience.
Excuse me, it's called a Norwich argy-bargy.
One on American soil, so it's called a Mexican standoff.
Pretty racist, but sure, we're the bad guys.
Percy, let's walk this Nazi scum down to the field office.
Terribly sorry, Miss Patterson, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to insist they come with me.
Are you nuts?
As a cucumber sandwich. Which is to say, not nuts. We're the ones having to hear their incessant bloody radio broadcasts. Oh, we are coming to bomb your factories, you tea-drinking bad teeth havers.
You do have notoriously bad teeth and do love tea.
Everyone loves tea!
Enough.
Out of the corner of her eye, Mary noticed Gunther doing something strange.
Hey, what are you doing?
Nothing.
He's trying to swallow a cyanide capsule. Cut it out, or I'll shoot you. I guess that's actually not much of a threat.
It's just gum. See? Oh. Ahoy. Hitler.
Well, shit.
I'm sorry, did you all just change it to Ahoy, Hitler?
In the confusion, Johnny dove and grabbed Braun's gun. Just for effect, he held on to the prop gun to cover both spies.
Ugh, don't tell me you have one of those suicide pills too.
I left it at home. Makes it hard to enunciate. Klaus kept Klutzy Kippers keen and clean. Klaus kept Klutzy Kippers keen and clean.
All right.
Just then, a knock at the door.
Is there a Peter Waffles here?
Indeed.
I'm with RKO. They'd like to offer you the role you auditioned for.
Really?
Yes, do you have an agent?
Peter looked down at Gunther's corpse.
I'm kind of hip-pocketed, but he's not feeling very well right now.
Fittings this afternoon on the lot. Congratulations.
Finally. Some good news for a change.
Wow, Peter, that's incredible. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. It's a bit overwhelming.
Focus, fellas. You're not actors. You're spies.
Little Katerina Killjoy over here.
Seriously.
Say, what do you think about you and I get out of here and go to your fitting?
Not likely, chum. You see... Wait, really?
Yeah, I'm done with all this Nazi business. Why fight when you can create worlds and tell stories?
Oh, brother.
What do you say, Peter?
We should take La Cienega. Overland's going to be a mess. What'd you do that for?
He's a Nazi.
Quite. Yes, I don't know what came over me. This town really casts her spell, does she not?
I somehow managed to keep it together.
Well, it looks as though my work here is complete. Time to head back to London and give my full report.
Don't lie, you're going to your fitting.
Should I take La Cienega?
Unremembered Hollywood was created, written, and produced by Charlie Fonville. Abby Larson was played by Annie Savage. That's me. Original music by Jonathan Dinerstein. With Matt Gourley as Johnny Kansas, Humphrey Carr as Peter Waffles and Francisco Franco, Deanna Rooney as Mary Weissman, Hal Lublin as Gunther Brown, police officer and Appleman number 1, Bobcat Goldthwait as George Cukor, and Phineas Applesauce, the hobo, D.C. Pearson as C.R. Schwartz and Buttons Malloy, the hobo, Katie Michels as acting student, casting director, and costumer, Fred Cross as Louis B. Mayer, Justin Wright Neufeld as courier and assistant director, and Brian Palatucci as director, John Ford, and apple seller number 2. Join us next month for another unremembered tale from Hollywood's yesteryear. And if you're interested in the untimely demise of Edmund T. Pancakes, check back the third Monday of the month for But That's Another Story. You can subscribe and find more episodes and info on our website, unrememberedhollywood.com. We're also on Instagram and Twitter if such things interest you, at unrememberedpod. If you like the show, why not leave a review on iTunes? Johnny Kansas would. And in case you hadn't noticed, Unremembered Hollywood is a work of fiction. The names are the names of real people, but they never said these words in this order. Characters, dialogue, and actions were all completely made up. No one was executed during the production of It Happened One Night, and The Hoof and Heifer is not a real movie, as unjust as that is.